What is going on, everybody? I'm Novo coming at you with another one. Checking in on Tesla, and sorry, should have stayed on the 1 hour. We're basically just watching this triangle pattern. As you saw in the past, when the base was being challenged, it broke down to the downside, and now we have this ascending triangle, and this price line is being tested. Let's zoom in. And we can see that the bulls are willing to pay more and more for the price as the bears are trying to control this. So more often than not, what happens with a triangle like this, it will break to the upside. And if we do break to the upside, the length of the height of the triangle is normally the projection where breakout traders will be looking to play. And if we look left, that's pretty much where all this chatter was, right? We had lots of gaps and stuff. And if we zoom out, we can see that it's almost like testing this downward channel here. But also, if we were to do the breakout, again, same thing, the same length, and the breakout would probably be testing somewhere along here, which is the bias of this trend. So I said that more often than not, this line gets challenged and it would break to the upside. If we do, it may be short term or short lived in a continuation to the downside, I think. So I will just be watching this break to the downside, which is around the sub 800, and the key being this trend line of support. And looking left, this is getting into the range of liquidity of where buyers are willing to step in. If that's the case, then we may have a continuation down even further, at which point we'll be looking at another target. But we're being a little myopic right now, and we're just watching the break of this move. Looking at indicators, we're below the 50, so that's bearish. We've got, zooming in, we've got bearish candles. And over here, when we compare the green to the red, it doesn't seem very strong, and it could potentially come back down. APO and MACD flashing red and consolidating possibly under the zero cross, all weak energy. So I'm favoring we may actually continue to the downside, and that's on the 1 hour. So trends will change on lower time frames, obviously, before we see them change on the larger time frames. And if we go to daily, what is the trend? The trend is down. Let's make things a little clearer for a sec. So we got red candles down around where all this red was happening. This indicator showing red again. We had some bullish candles trying, lots of wicks pushing down. So it could be we're going to go down in RSI down around the 30. Squeeze momentum. It's trying, but I have a feeling we might continue down. And this looks like a bullish close under the zero cross, which means weak. So we could further consolidation or weak energy pushing down. So we've had quite a fair bit of sell-off. Let's turn off this guy for a second and go full screen. And then we go candles. And you can see this argument that I'm talking about down here, right? The buyers, if anything, we may see some scooping starting at around the 829, which is why I think the banks will take it a little lower, maybe even lower than the 760, and challenge this. So if we do go down here, the most bullish case would be a double bottom at about 700 bucks. Is that exactly 700? Looks like it. So it's potentially, maybe we'll see a wick and then a close. And if we see a close right about here, that means lots of buyers are waiting down here. If we see a solid candle, it could be that we continue down and then we test this lower trend line further. So we'll have to wait and see. But you can see this range of expansion that's happening here, right? Eventually, this will give up the ghost. We'll try and challenge. If we challenge early, it looks like it will be too early and then a continuation down again. And then we'll start looking at this line here. So um, we're at 6 minutes. A couple of GAN fans just to show you how the algos are trading. Where are you? Is it this one? I think it's this one. This is you can see the intersections of opens and closes, how it shows a form of support and resistance. This guy up here is, if we square off, where is it? Here? I think it's right about here. People will think that's the close, and we can argue that, but I believe it's right about here. Okay, so we can see that resistance that's happening here. So if there's a breakout, it will be this guy, and it might be in this zone or after we hit this zone. But the closer we are to this, um, the less possible it is for a breakout. You want your bands to be very, very wide. And if we do a range from here to here, you can see how this triangle lines up nicely. I'm sure I could probably zero that in a little more, but I'm not going to bother. And you can see how we hit that resistance line here, right? So there's compression happening here. And because the bands are wider on this side as they are compared to the upside, if we cannot break that line, I think we're going to be challenging this this trend line down here. And it could be that I've got to recalculate and go a little lower, but we will do that based on this guy right here. So this could just be an attempt to go further and then it bounce back up. So let's delete all this stuff because we are making spaghetti here. We know all of these potential trend lines that we need to break, right? Previous support becomes future resistance. So if we do go up, I would expect a challenge, a consolidation, and then a challenge. So that zigzag as we continue up. But I'm going to go against the rules here only because it looks more bearish to me. And this could be a way to trap traders. The breakout will happen. Stops will get taken out, and then potentially a reversal down to around the $800 range. I could be wrong. I'm 100% wrong. Anyways, that is Tesla at a glance. Post your bets and your opinions down below in the comments, and please be respectful. Trade safe.